What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel. Hope everybody's having a great day. And as always, I'm referring to the trusty comments and questions on every video, which I love you guys. But I always get those people that are just like so indecisive. And even me making this video and answering a question is not going to be good enough. But I'll play into it because maybe somebody will gain something from it. So the last one that really resonated with me was, should you buy Polaris cards? Do you recommend RX580s? That was like, I think, almost verbatim. Should you buy RX580s? Do you recommend them in 2022? That's where we're at now, by the way, just for reference. So RX580s, 570s, 470s, 480s, they're all referred to as Polaris cards. They've been out for a hot minute. They are awesome cards. They mine really well with a BIOS mod, which is fairly standard now. Basically every version of a 570 or 580 has a BIOS mod, or you can BIOS mod it. And some of them don't even need to be BIOS modded, depending on the software you're using. But they can do 31 mega hash, and they do that at around, on the low end, I've seen some of them like 130-ish watts all the way up to like 150 watts. Some people claim less because inside of software it says less, but 100% guaranteed, if you put a meter on and measure the riser power and the PCI Express power, the total power that's going through the card, it is more. Because some people are like, oh, I got my RX 570, it's doing 80 watts at 31 mega hash, and it is not. It is doing 80 watts in software, but guaranteed it ain't doing that total draw. So that'll get you in trouble, especially when people are like, yo, I got 10 570s pulling 80 watts a piece, got 800 watts of power draw. And I'm like, whoa. How are you? Make sure you're sizing your power supplies correctly. You need to be basing that off a safe like 130, 140 range per card. So some people undersize their power supplies, end up killing power supplies due to that. And then also not knowing how much you're going to end up paying in electric. That's a big thing. So you need to figure out your electric cost, and then you need to figure out what you're actually burning. Now, we'll go upstairs, but before we do that, I do want to put my money where my mouth is and show you guys that I am mining on Polaris cards. I do like Polaris cards. I've had some of these for a while. Some of them I just bought recently within the last year. They're good cards. They're not the most efficient, and I don't recommend buying them at top tier prices. And we'll talk about pricing here in a second. Obviously pricing does vary across the world and that kind of thing. I can only give you experience from where I'm at and just take that for what it is. So let's go into the old hole here and show you guys my 570. All right, we are entering the dungeon. So sorry about the fan noise. We are cooking today. These are all MSI 570 8 gigs, by the way. We're mining Ethereum, 31 and a little bit of change mega hash on those. Coming over here we have, oh, these are another two. These are Sapphire RX 570s. One of these is a 4 gig, one's an 8 gig. I need to get that bad boy up and running, but I was having some stability problems out of the 8 gig card. I'm also going to put that 4 gig card, and we'll talk about the 4 gig cards here in a little bit also, but I'm going to put that back on Raven coin just to get a little bit of extra coin. And then going up here, I have some 570s. There's a Sapphire 570, and is that my last 570? Oh, no. Right here on the end, these are two MSI 570s, and then there's some 570s down there on the end of that rig. Here's another Sapphire, I believe that's RX 580. There's a MSI 570, that's a Mech version 1. Those are Mech V2s. Cooler design's a lot better on those. Or not Mech, is it Mech? Or Mark 1 and Mark 2, or sorry, Mark 1 and Mark 2. I can't remember the exact name of them, but yeah, the Mark 2s are much better. And I think that's all my Polaris cards, which that's quite a bit. That's a majority of my farm, surprisingly. Let me turn this camera back around. All right, so you guys do see that I obviously have a few Polaris cards still. It's one of those things that I never weighed in on a lot of cards that I don't have, kind of like the Vega series. I never have owned a Vega 56 or a 64. I want one. I just haven't got the opportunity at the right price. I didn't feel good about the prices that they were going for, so I didn't get any of them, so I kind of avoided talking about them. Like, obviously we can do the math and we can be like, oh yeah, Vega makes sense, but I don't want to speak from a place that I don't really know about. And I don't know about Vegas because I haven't had them. So yeah, but I do know about Polaris because I have had quite a few of them. So let's go on to the computer. We're going upstairs. Sorry about the shaky camera. Got the fan on high. Let's turn it down to low. There we go. Low should be plenty for right now. It's pretty cool outside. Welcome to the office, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're up here. These are my MSI RX580s. They're doing almost 31, like 30.8, 30.7. It says they're running at 75, 76 watts. That right there is an absolute lie. These things are doing about 120 to 130, give or take. I have my core at 1150. Memories at 2050, and I am running the mem tweaks, I believe at 20. Yeah, AMD mem tweak at 20. Also core voltage 900 and core state is 1. I can push these memory a little bit harder and get like an extra 1 mega hash a piece, but whenever these get a little warmer, because right now they're like 60, 77, 52, whenever these get a little warmer, they become unstable when I have the memory higher. So I'd rather pull them back a little bit and keep them stable for sure. Now, just to show you guys, over here on what to mine, if you click on a lot of people are like, oh, I click on 570 and it says 0 for the ETH hash. Well, that's because the 570 they're referring to is a 4 gigabyte model. Just be mindful of that. Now the 580 is an 8 gigabyte model, and they're rating it at 1150 core and 2150 on the memory, and they say it's going to get 30.5 mega hash. Now I'm running less memory, but I am running a custom BIOS mod, so yeah, that's the thing. I might have my memory a little bit higher. Not a big deal. But ETH hash says 30.5 mega hash, about what I'm getting at 130 watts. Sounds about right. Now, not meaning to say you can't get it a little bit lower than that. You can. Just when people tell me that their RX580 is doing 70 watts, no, it's not. It really ain't. So, oh, my bad. Let's go back to there. So Ethereum doing $1.65 a day before power, $1.45 a day after power. So just quick math here. After power, and this is 10 cents per kilowatt hour here. 10 days, that's $14.50. 100 days, $145. So 200 days is almost 300 bucks. That's what, $290 in 200 days. So what do you guys shoot for on ROI? It's hard to know. The one thing that I don't want people to take advantage or take for granted here is Ethereum mines good on these. But now when you drop down, when you look at some other stuff, Ergo, Auto Lycos, $1.29 a day, not so bad. Oh, Ethereum Classic, $1.09 a day. After power, it's only 89 cents. Raven Coin, 72 cents a day after power. It kind of drops off. They are not as effective as other cards, more specifically NVIDIA cards, when it comes to other algorithms. Zelhash, Flux, 63 cents a day. What's another big one? Oh, daggone Etho. Grin, 13 cents a day. I don't think anybody really minds that on Polaris ever anyway. But yeah, it's just, they're great on ETH hash, and they start to suffer when they go over to other algorithms. And if you're basing it off of just Ethereum, we might not have 200 days of Ethereum mining left with proof of stake coming out. Now, some people say we got more than that. I don't know. I don't think it's likely. So, to go over to eBay, the buy it now lowest priced 578 gigs that don't look like scams are about 250 bucks. So that means potentially these things could pay themselves off in, you know, anywhere from, I don't know, half a year to a year, depending on how things go. It really will be a crazy time once we're coming up on this proof of stake. They've already said that it potentially will push it out farther, but they haven't announced any pushing back of like the difficulty bomb, at least not from what I'm sure. But yeah, I wouldn't be buying these for 250 bucks a piece. In my opinion, 570s, 470s, 580s, 480, 8 gig cards should be bought for no more than about 150 bucks. That leaves you at about 100-day ROI after power, if your power is 10 cents per kilowatt. Hold on one second, let me turn this camera around. Felt like I was kind of talking to myself there. Well, I guess technically I am still talking to myself, but 150 bucks or less per card. If you can get them for 100 a card, that would be optimal. You have to remember, these cards have been used and not necessarily always abused, but I just say it as like, you know, a figure of speech. Used and abused. These are not fresh. I don't care how good somebody took care of it. 570s have been out for a hot minute. Actually, let's look up the RX570 release date. There we go. April 18th, 2017. So we're talking about 3, 4, 5 plus years. 5 years. And they're still relevant. That's the craziest part. Now, 470s, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want 470s. RX 470s can mine just as good as 570s with the correct software, either whether you do a BIOS mod or elsewhere. And 470s have been out since 2016. So 470s are knocking on the old 6-year-old door. Holy smokes. Like in dog years, that's it's getting up there. They could definitely go get themselves a little drink, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's hard to recommend them at 250. If you wanted to get one and you wanted to get into mining, I'd say you're better off spending $250 on like a 1660 Super or TI. Maybe you can find one of those. I know personally, I've seen them in my local area, the 1660s series cards in the mid and high 200s. I think that's a better buy. They're more efficient and they're better on more algorithms. Not necessarily as they're not just sitting on eBay at 250 bucks. You gotta do some looking. Another good alternative is RX 6600s. You'll get almost the same hash rate, about 28, 29 mega hash, but it actually is a lot more efficient. They do run at that 60 to 70 watt range, unlike a 570, which is about double that. So efficiency is a lot better, and you can find those used in that high 200, low $300 price point. So yeah, I guess everything is a good buy at the right price, but right now 570s for Polaris in general, avoid them if you can't get them for a deal. So yeah, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna hop off here. Oh, and I did want to add that during the last bear market, RX 570s, 580s, 470s, 480s, all the Polaris cards literally went dirt cheap because the world is full of them. There are tons of these cards that were being mined on and are still being mined on, and whenever farms started dumping these AMD cards, the market got flooded, and you could get RX 570s for like 100 bucks or less a piece, like all day long on eBay, just sitting there. You didn't have to work a deal with nobody. I actually worked a deal, and I got 570s for like 50 bucks a piece because I bought like 20 of them back then. I was using those. I was reflashing the stock BIOS on them and using them to build out like cheap budget gaming rigs. So yeah, it's crazy how everything's just turned. Wish I would have kept all those, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Drop it down below. What do you think? Obviously, if you already got them, smoke them if you got them. Let those bad boys mine. But don't run out and go pay 250. Don't even go pay 200 plus for some daggone Polaris cards. There's better options. So 1660 series, 1660 Supers, 1660 Ti's, RX 6600s, RX 5600s. We can't sleep on the 5000 series Navi. Yeah, 5600s, even RX 5500s. I can get those bad boys to do about 27 mega hash. They're fairly efficient. Yeah, just newer tech. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go. Have a good one. I'll see y'all down in the little comments. JF out, boy.